So, it seems that Assassin's Creed Syndicate is going to be making Ubisoft history in more ways than one. We of course know that this is going to be the first time that you can choose between a male and female character for the series, and of course is the first time we're going to have a playable female in a main Assassin's Creed game. Of course, we did have the female character from Assassin's Creed Liberation, but that was a PS Vita game that was eventually ported. It's not a main Assassin's Creed game. This would be 5 if it was numbered, but obviously it's not. But it is still a mainstay Assassin's Creed game with a playable female character. Now, of course, we all know about the controversy that Ubisoft went through when Unity came out because of the complete lack of a playable female in the co-op mode. And they did draw some questions rather that was Evie just a response to that? Did they just add it to tick a box? But given that she is a main character, and obviously Syndicate has been in development for a while, that didn't seem to be the case. And now it seems they're making Ubisoft history again, as Syndicate will include the first ever transgender character for the series, as a transgender male by the name of Ned Weinert is one of the several supporting characters that will act as a quest giver for the two protagonists. Now, we all know that for pretty much ever for the Assassin's Creed series, ever since Assassin's Creed 1, there's been an opening statement which reads, designed, developed and produced by a multicultural team of various religious faiths and beliefs. And now, there has been a change, and we'll get onto why this was changed in a moment. It now reads, quote, inspired by historical events and characters, this work of fiction was designed, developed and produced by a multicultural team of various beliefs, sexual orientations and gender identities. So why did they change that? And this does go back to Ned, so bear with me. Why did they decide to change this kind of iconic opening statement? Well, apparently it came from a discussion within the team, according to the Assassin's Creed Syndicate creative director Marc-Alexis Cote, who said, quote, it felt like when we first wrote that for AC1 it was something that was very inclusive, but I've had the chance to work with more than 12 different writers on Syndicate. At one point, one approached me and said that we were not embracing diversity fully enough. I had reviewed all our crowd dialogue, I was happy with our two protagonists, but they were talking about the statement at the beginning of the game, that it was exclusive of some people, so I asked for them to propose a new statement. So there we go. Going back to Ned for a moment though, it would be an easy assumption to make, like people did with Evie, that this transgender character has just been added to tick a box. To basically say, hey, look how diverse we are, but judging from the gameplay that we have seen, which of course is not the full game at the time of recording, it just seems that the story of the character, Ned Weinert, does not involve his gender and is not even remarked upon in the scenes that we have seen so far. Now, of course, we don't know if it's going to be mentioned at some point, but the fact that what we've seen doesn't show his whole identity to be wrapped around his gender and of course not even remarked upon is definitely a good start. I don't think there's anything wrong with it coming up eventually in the course of the game, but the fact that it's not, hey, in your face, you know, this transgender character is here just to tick a box is definitely encouraging. What's also encouraging, marketing to date, which obviously they probably would do if this was just to tick a box. Now, Cote also went on to say that he wanted players to meet the character of Ned and form an opinion themselves, but also to make sure that it is an accurate reflection of the Victorian era. So obviously, back then it would have been much less common, or at least not as open as it is now, to be a transgender person. It was of course a very long time ago, and the setting is key here. 1868, 2 years prior to the high-profile trial of Thomas Ernest Bolton and Frederick William Park. These two were put on trial for, quote, conspiring and inciting persons to commit an unnatural offence after being discovered with Bolton's lover Lord Arthur Clinton while they were both dressed as women. Now, Bolton and Park also performed under the names Stella Clinton and Fanny Winifred Park as part of a double act, and they actually lived as women away from the stage. Now, Bolton and Park were both eventually acquitted, but Lord Clinton died shortly after being charged, and it's a widespread belief that he committed suicide. So it seems like they wanted to fit in with the attitudes that would have been around at the time, which is fine. It's obviously a very different time compared to now. Still, looks like Ubisoft is definitely learning after how much they dug their heels in and basically didn't even budge slightly on the topic of a female playable character in the co-op mode, and of course it's taken God knows how many games to get a main playable character in a main Assassin's Creed game. To have two such history makers in one game, of course for Ubisoft, when I say history makers I don't mean in gaming in general, is definitely impressive. Of course, how good of a character Ned actually is, well, we're going to have to wait and see until we get the full game, unfortunately, but I'm definitely encouraged. It seems Ubisoft are definitely listening, and here's hoping that he is a interesting and diverse character. Of course, it's a quest giver, so he's probably not going to be super fleshed out, but at least sounds promising. Do let me know your thoughts and opinions though, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.